Good evening, good evening. This is Lady Estelle and the Street Soldier Crew, and we are back for this Father's Day Sunday with you. Your host this evening is glad to see that we are still here. We are healthy, we are alive and free. Your host, Dr. Joseph E. Marshall Jr.
Good evening, Street Soldiers. Alive and free Street Soldiers Radio back on the air on Father's Day. Yeah, my day. Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers, the grandfathers. I'm going to throw this in, the great grandfathers too. We're going to spend this first hour saluting and hearing from all of you. We have a guest in the studio. We have some more guests in the second hour. First hour, I want to hear from the callers talking about dad, granddad, and great granddad. Dr. Marshall here, all things alive and free, Street Soldiers and Omega Boys Club. And I am ready to go. I'm just been a great day for me. All right, I've been to lunch, I've been treated, I've been feeded. Is that really a word? I always trying for FETED. Yeah, that's a word, right? It is a word. All right. So Lady E, what's up? Phil Mo, what's up?
No.
Uh,
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, happy Father's Day to both of you. You know what? But I don't limit it to those who have planted seeds because there are young men and there are men who have loved, cared for, looked after, and supported young people. And so I like to salute them as well.
They can all be included in the salute. All be included in the salute. And happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth.
You free.
We's free.
People don't know they're free.
We's free. Took a few years for them to get the word down in Texas. Somebody said to me, what did somebody say to me? I said, you mean they didn't have no internet back then? No. So Juneteenth is the symbolic emancipation day for Black folks, and it is not. It's some things are really remarkable to me. Dr. King getting a federal holiday, okay, even though there was opposition, but Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday, I was like, damn. Oh, that's bad. Yeah, that's all right. You gotta acknowledge that. And so it is. It is a federal holiday. Everything will be closed this Wednesday. I think it's June 19th. June 19th. Yeah. And so celebrate, folks. Celebrate. There's a lot of all kind of stuff going on. All kind of stuff going on.
Vallejo had a parade, and then I know here in the city they closed down the Fillmore to celebrate with music. It was
It was lit.
It was
Should be.
I'm just mad that I got a new job, so my day off is automatically Wednesday.
Oh,
so extra day off.
Oh, okay. You okay?
Congratulations.
Good
oh, thank you. I've had it for a while, but thank you.
All right. But first, the immediate task for tonight is to talk about dads, and dads, granddads, and great granddads, community dads, all those dads who do their thing, raising the children. We got a little news first. Let's see. When I do a little news, what we got here?
If you see Donald Trump, he's a dad. Would you say Happy Father's Day?
At the end of a long sentence, at the very end of the sentence, at the very, very end, and dude, I might throw that in, but he ain't gonna remember that. All he gonna remember is all the other stuff beforehand.
Got you.
I guarantee you. I guarantee you. All right, for the basketball fans out there, and there are a lot in the Bay Area. Former Laker great, Jerry West, passed away this week. Yeah. The logo of the NBA. I mean, he is the silhouette. It's not Jordan with his iconic. It is number 44, Jerry West. Amazing to me. And Jerry West, those of us who go back as far as I do. For years, the number one backcourt in the NBA was Oscar Robertson and Jerry West. Now you got to be
No,
for years.
Elgin Baylor,
No, he was front court. He was a forward. He was
Oscar Robinson, and
Jerry West
never
were
played
guards. They were guards. They were no, that's it. They didn't play together. I'm
Okay.
saying
Okay.
the number one when they said best backcourt
Okay,
ever. Right?
okay.
I'm sorry. Yes,
Well,
I'm
I
just
think
made
we-
myself clear. Yeah, both of the guards were Robertson and West, and of course that's before who came on the scene, rewrite everything. But Mr. Clutch, they called him. And as amazing as he was as a ball player, he was even more amazing as an executive. What he did for he drafted, who, Kobe Bryant. He traded for Shaq. He was a brilliant executive, and the NBA will miss Mr. Jerry. They called him Zeke from Cabin Creek way back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah, he's
What you
amazing.
talking about, Mr. Clutch?
There you go. There you
Yep.
go. What's up, son?
Yeah. Not only just about Jerry West, I wish I could say this about people all the time. Unfortunately, I can't. He was just a great man.
Great
Just
human
a
being.
Great human being.
Yep.
He really was. And relevant in professional basketball since the 1960s. I think 50, 60s.
Oh, yeah.
60s?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's a long time.
That's a long time. Absolutely.
That's a long
Absolutely.
time. So he
And-
will be missed.
A lot of salutes pouring into again for the life of
They don't make them like that anymore.
not many.
Nah.
No.
Not many. All right, we saluted Juneteenth already. What else is in the news? Let's see. For those of you who are keeping an eye on the police, which you should, because even though you can get one department together, there's others who still need work. The Justice Department has stated that the Phoenix Police Department, and this has been going on for a while, it takes a while to get these investigations, violated the civil rights of the citizens and has used illegal excessive force. So
Mhm.
now I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to put it under? They used to put those things under what they call I forget the name for it. I can't remember. Anyway, come in and help the department get straight. But you always got to keep your eyes on police departments around the United States, because as we have said here many times, there's no one centralized policing. So you can get San Francisco together, you can get Oakland together, but Phoenix, yeah, I wish it was, but there isn't. So keep your eye on the police, folks. Please do that. Let's see what else we got. The rest of this stuff, it's so bad. I don't even want to. It's a happy day. It's Juneteenth.
The
Right?
bump stock one, there's nothing good about that.
No, yeah. Well, that's the problem with the news. Is always so bad, right? That's so, there are days I'll read and the days I won't. I don't want to read that. Jerry West is a great guy. Juneteenth is wonderful, and the police thing, whatever. So you got anything else or not? We'll get on. We'll get
No,
on with-
just like I said, the bump stock thing, Clarence Thomas. I mean, the Supreme Court. I mean, Supreme Court.
yeah, right. The
The Supreme Court.
all right,
I don't
okay,
have no
Are
faith in
you
y'all about
serious right
nothing.
now?
okay.
I mean,
We don't do these political shows, but we got to do it. As we get closer, we'll do it. Okay, I'll get my guy from USF here. I'll get the doc in and we'll go at it. And him and Mike can go at it and we'll just sit and listen. But the closer we get to the election, we'll have these conversations because it is a historic election. It always is.
Dr. Marshall, do you know 5 months we will be voting for president of these United States?
Let's not vote now. Okay, all right, okay. Just all right. We know it's coming. It will come. It will come.
And I'm not one to disrespect elders. I love elders. I want to be one myself one day.
You will get there, sir.
But
You're
looking
getting
at
there
those two
already.
old dudes, woo,
Hey,
it's
man.
rough.
That's what we got. So you got to pick the best of the worst of the old dudes. That's what it is. That's what it is. All right. Let's jump into fatherhood because that's what tonight is about. 877-955-1061. 877-955-1061. It is Father's Day. If you want to salute your father, your grandfather, your community father, your
Stepfather?
grandfather, I would love to hear somebody's great grandfather. I would love it. I would love it. I love it. I love it. I wonder what that's like. If you're a dad, you want to talk about the joy of being a dad. That's what I like. Best thing about being a dad. I love that show. I love that show. I love that topic. You can call us 877-955-1061. Our guest in the studio is Dr. Khalid White, the father guru. Can I call you the guru? The guru has been on the show
Thanks for having
before.
Another
He
great
has
man.
written extensively about fathers. And we have some books he's going to put up. And if you're lucky, we might give you one. Okay. All right. But Dr. White, good to see you again, my brother.
Yeah, thanks for
Introduce
having me.
yourself, tell everybody what you do,
Yeah.
and let's go for it.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. Live and Free Radio. I'm glad to be back in the studio. I'm Khalid White, Dr. Khalid White. You know, I'm an educator by trade, right? That's what I do on a day-to-day basis. But part of what I do is also community education. Part of educating the people outside of the classroom in the community, we're educating fathers and father figures and trying to really change the narrative and shine a positive light on Black fathers, especially because we get such a negative rap as Black men. And then also as Black fathers, there's all these competing narratives and negative stereotypes about the things that we aren't doing, what we are deficient at, and that type of thing. And it's all this historical, BS really that's been put out there about the absent and the missing Black father. And do we have a problem with absenteeism? I think so. But there are some systemic and some historical issues, kind of that bring that on. What's not highlighted has been the fact that, according to the CDC,
That's right. The data.
right? The data shows, the numbers show, as we say, numbers don't lie, that Black men are the most involved fathers out of any racial and ethnic group in the United States, right?
Yeah.
So that gets swept under the rug in the face of all these stereotypes and that type of thing. So, what I've been trying to do is really just, as Dr. Marshall was saying earlier, celebrate and salute the fathers who are involved actively, whether it's community fathers, father figures, coaches, grandfathers, stepfathers, so forth and so on, and just to help educate the general public about the importance of fathers and the need for highlighting fathers and father figures, particularly Black fathers. So, as we celebrate Father's Day, as we celebrate Juneteenth, we kind of having a cross-pollination of Black dads and the celebration of community, right? So that's why I'm here to talk about tonight. I'm here to, to uplift tonight. And yep.
You have written several books. Why don't you just put them up and let people see them? This is one I have.
Yeah.
One. All right. Black Fatherhood.
Yeah.
Trials and Tribulations, Testimonies and Triumphs by Dr. Khalil Axel.
No.
White. All right. all right. What else you got over there?
Yeah. So
I love when people write children's books. That's I
Yes.
really love those.
Man, I have a couple of these children's books that I'm fortunate to be a part of as well. In Spanish and English, we have Hermanito, which is little brother, right? In Spanish and English for our bilingual learners.
That's a little brother.
Little
right?
brother,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
So it's in
Mhm.
English and Spanish also. We have Hermanita, which is the bilingual version of the little sister book, right?
All right.
For our dual language learners. Also, little brother in English for our monolingual speakers, right? And also, last but not least, little sister for our English speaking only people. So anyhow, again, as an educator, I want to be a part of the solution. The solution for a lot of this school to prison pipeline is literacy. It starts with kids learning to read, being able to critically think and do all these things that are attached to reading. So just trying to be part of the solution, Dr. Marshall.
I'm going to ask you a question in a minute. 877-955-1061. Salute fathers, saluting fathers, grandfathers, all those fathers out there. Give us a call. Want to hear who you want to salute. Tell me about your dad. If I start talking about my dad, we'll be on the show forever. I mean, ain't no doubt about it. My dad, my dad. I mean, anytime you raise 9 kids, you go to the top of the heap. Okay. But
Salute.
I want to hear from those of you out there who want to say, if you're a dad, if you're a father out there, call in and tell us, what do you get out of it? What's the joy for you? What's the fun for you? I mean, I know what the fun for me is. Love to hear from you. Dr. Way, you have
Two girls.
girls.
See the hat, girl dad.
Oh, oh, girl
Yeah,
dad.
yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter that came with me the last time.
Yeah.
Got a little, almost 4-year-old.
Oh, all
two
right.
girls.
All right. So what's it like being a girl dad?
Oh, it was a reawakening and a re-education for me. In my family, it's all boys. Got all brothers. I have
Oh.
all, male cousins, primarily. So it was a whole kind of education by fire, in a lot of cases for me to learn kind of the girl world. But I love it. It actually grew me up. It actually changed my whole perspective. It actually wanted me, made me want to do life differently. So I'm a proud girl dad. And I always dreamt like, yeah, I would love to have a son, a junior. We go play football. And man, I'm so happy I got girls.
Well,
Yeah.
you wait. They got flag football now. Play football with. You can do just about anything.
Hey, I got some girly girls. We're not trying to touch a ball. We're trying to do hair and that type of thing. Yeah.
What's the best thing about it? What's the best thing about being a dad for you?
One thing, if I can narrow it down,
If you can narrow a couple, whatever.
the best thing is really having somebody who looks up to you in a way, and then also somebody who you can see yourself in. So it's like a reciprocal, it's like a back and forth type of relationship. And so they depend on me, but I also depend on them. So yeah, that's the thing I think at this point in time is the best. It doesn't come without its struggles though.
Oh, of course.
Man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It doesn't come without its struggles, but
you raising young people, that's gonna be a struggle.
the joys outweigh, the ups outweigh the downs for me. So yeah, I'm happy.
So how old are they now? Let me say that they just want.
I have one that just turned 17.
Oh, 17. Oh.
Yeah. And then I have one that'll be 4 next month.
Oh,
I'm in 2 different worlds.
Yeah.
2 different pages.
Yeah, to start over.
Started over.
Yeah. All right now. All right, 877-955-1061. Call in, salute dad, salute granddad, salute great granddad, salute any father figure in your life. Want to appreciate dads today on Father's Day. You got any stories, any particular stories? I got a million stories.
I wonder if we could hear from Malcolm and his, because he's a
I
girl
just
dad.
want to throw in stepfathers. We can't leave out the stepdads.
That's
Well,
true.
but I consider them fathers. So
And the
I don't-
stepdad. Okay. Oh,
I
see.
didn't put them in a different category.
Okay.
To be their fathers, right? Or as my man once said, step up, dad.
I like that.
Yeah. So I ain't throwing. No, I don't. Any particular story that you have, either with the 17-year-old, a couple of fathers' stories.
Yeah.
I mean, good story. I mean, no, I know you got the other story, like a trip you took or something, that just warms your heart and you go back and think about.
I think about this quite frequently. I took my oldest daughter when she was about 6, maybe first grade or so. We went to San Diego. Took on a trip, a dad-daughter trip to San Diego. Had a good time. So she's 6 at the time. We go to this place. It's like a safari park. And we do zip line. Now, mind you, you're supposed to be
Zip line.
9 years old to do the zip line, but my daughter is big. I said, yeah, she's 9. So I'm saying this because probably the statute of limitations passed. I sign her up. We do the zip line, having a great time. We get stuck in one of those trees.
Oh no.
And she's up there.
You got stuck.
Help! And I'm scared to death. I'm trying not to show it because I'm the dad. I'm in charge. But I had to get rescued by a 17-year-old white kid. He came and swooped me like a damsel in distress and took me under his arm and helped me down. And I said, "Oh, I'm not doing this again."
That's the story.
That was a story. But hey, we lived to tell about it. We had a great time. She was up there scared. I was scared. Man, I'm talking about,
yes,
hundreds of feet up in this tree.
Wow.
Too scared to try and grab the. Oh, man, I don't know if any of y'all have been ziplining, but
I want to, but
I'm
now I
already
don't know.
I'm already scared of heights.
No, me too.
So I'm trying
Me
not
too.
to be scared because I don't
I
want to
was
show
holding
her.
my eyes the whole trip down.
Yeah,
I
man.
already know
This
that.
teen came and
I
rescued
have a
us.
hard time getting up there to zip line.
Yeah.
Heights, I don't like heights, man. I don't like heights. I don't like them.
Yeah.
You go zip line and tell me what it's like.
I would love it.
It was cool until it wasn't.
Until you got stuck.
I stuck up 200 feet up in the air or something like that in this tree, and she's crying, and I'm scared to death. And trying not to look down, and lo and behold, the team that came up there and came and rescued me like Tarzan and Jane, and you know, took me like a
Hey man, if a Martian would have got me down, I don't care who. as this old school lady who did this song said, you don't even know who did this song, but Doc knows. He's been a Fontana Bass said, "Rescue me." Okay,
Yeah, he
rescue
rescued
me. I know Lady E remember that one.
He rescued me. He rescued us.
Saved
us off the
That's
zip
a
line.
great story. See, those stories you get from being dad, man. Those are the stories you get. And so many men, I tell them that's what you miss out on, those stories when you're not present. You know, those stories are priceless, man. And you get to sit back and laugh and have a good time. And those conversations are so great. My story, I got a bunch of stories about him. My stories about him and my and my two daughters. But I'm gonna use him since he's here. My favorite story, not my favorite, one of my favorites is, and I see, but this ain't his favorite, okay? But you know why? It's coaching him 6th, 7th, and 8th grade basketball. And I was a coach, and he's the point guard, right? Except I'm thinking he gonna be like, he gonna be Steph and Magic. So I'm like, I was hard on him. I admit it. I was that's what
a little extra, just a little bit.
But man, we had a ball, man. We had a ball, man, in 6th grade. And the best thing, remember, it was 7th grade, and we beat the 8th graders. Man, you thought we won the NBA championship. Remember that? That was fun. That was fun. We was practicing this little old gym. It wasn't even a gym, man. It was it was a school auditorium that put up a basket. We was practicing gym. But those 3 years, man.
Good times. I'll never forget them.
Yes,
yes.
And you did well, man. You did well.
I mean, I had my dad there. That's all that mattered to me. You couldn't tell me nothing.
877-951-1061. You got a dad
877-955-1061.
877-955-1061. You got a dad story you want to share? You got a story about your dad? And I want to hear grandfather stories too. See, I want to hear grandfather stories. See, grandfather stories. So jump in.
I had just got my daughter her iPhone a couple years ago. She had been waiting her whole life to get that iPhone, right? So she got it for a birthday present, and she had it maybe 2 weeks. So we were getting in the car, and I guess she tied her shoe before she got in the car and left the phone on the outside of the car.
Oh.
So I didn't, we didn't know. So I get on 80 in Richmond. I'm around the Hilltop exit, and I'm going towards Oakland. And I hear something fly off the car and hit the ground. And I'm like, what is that noise? Did I run over something? I don't know what that might. We keep driving. And then she said, where's my phone? I said, oh, no. But I'm thinking it's a phone. Yeah, I just paid $800 for it, but I'm not going to say that. But I could get a new one. But then I looked at her and tears were coming down her face because she knew it was so important to her. She knew how much it cost. She knew everything. She understood the weight of it. And when I saw the tears come down her face, let me tell you, I turned into Black Superman. I pulled over. Somehow I had her phone, find my phone on the iPhone. So I knew it was somewhere of vicinity. We drove up and down the freeway 3-4 times until I had a general idea of where that phone is. I parked in the shoulder. I saw something beeping in the middle of the freeway. My kids were in the car watching me. I jumped out the car, went in the middle of the freeway, picked up that phone and ran back into the car.
You know what? Now that's a hero story, right?
I'm gonna tell you. I was dying, but it felt good.
It was like holy man.
They'll never forget that story. None of us. We talk about it every month.
Can't let him forget that.
And I didn't realize, like, when I think back, I was like, I was a damn fool. Why did I get on that
Nobody
freeway?
ran over the phone.
But in the moment for my daughter, it
Right.
didn't matter. You
Right.
know, it
That's
was like
right.
those stories you hear women, like there's somebody's trapped under the car and
And they
That's
pick up the
right.
car,
they lift up
right.
the car. You're like, what? You know, and they're like, hey,
That's
So-
right.
that's my number one story.
You know, and
That's a number 1, number 2, number 3, and 4.
you know, and it's funny because I believe that dad is, at least I know he's my first hero, right? He's my first hero. I always tell people I didn't need no Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. You know, I know that I had my dad, and he was a hero, right? Because the stuff he did, I don't see how he did it. Really, I don't see how you like. There was a noise in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I ain't moving.
Mm-hmm.
And he come through the house, man. That's it. This dude is really Superman, you know. So yes, and in African mythology, there was the character of Heru, from which we
Yes.
get the hero,
Mm.
right? So that's what you were. That's what you were, and you do not.
On that day, in that moment, I was that. But it my point is, it took her for me to become that, you
Yeah.
know, and,
Yeah.
and that's what that speaks to what Khalid is talking about, that reciprocal relationship between you and your kids, because you're pouring into them and they're getting something from you, but lo and behold, you're getting a whole lot from them.
877-955-1061. Any Father's Day stories for you? I would love to hear them. Please give us a call.
I got two.
You got two.
I remember very young when I was just a baby, and I remember using words, vocabulary that probably only adults should use. And I remember walking down the stairs and that
Ah.
threat of, "I'm gonna wash your mouth out with soap."
Oh yeah, that's what we used to say. That's what the old folks used to say back then. Wash your mouth out with soap.
So yeah, I never had that happen, but I learned that. But I do remember. I remember my dad said it, and then I remember coming home one day, and my dad had gotten off of work from Mare Island, and he had this panel with him and some rope, and he was like, "Come on, let's go in the backyard." And he went ahead and roped up the swing for me, which I remember just loving and using, and it was like the best thing, like unexpected. Probably didn't cost a lot of money, you know, but it was just that the thought, you know, the thought and the joy that little swing brought me out in Concord, California.
That's what I keep saying. Those are the stories that that come with dad.
Yeah.
With your dad, with your
Yeah.
dad, with your dad, with your dad. But guys,
Together.
I mean, this is one we're passing down, right? My dad, and it's funny because a lot of young boys don't get this. My dad, and this is people going like, why is that such a big deal? It is. Taught me how to tie a tie.
Okay.
I'll never forget that, man. I remember him getting me, together and like, actually taught me how to tie my shoes too. But years later, we getting in front of him. He's doing, the four in hand knot and the Windsor knot, and he's showing me how to do that. Blah, blah, blah. Now, fast forward many years later, I'm showing him how to tie a tie, right? And that's like I don't know if that's like a father-son tradition.
A rite of passage.
It really is. It really is, because that's gonna set you up. Sunday go to meeting clothes, or later on you gotta dress up. And have you started teaching my grandson that yet?
No, not yet. Though I will say he learns everything from YouTube, so I hope I still have something to teach him.
No, don't let him do that.
No.
You teach him how to tie that tie. That's gonna be so much. I mean, it really is like a rite of passage. Yeah, man. So
I'm thinking about
All
when
right.
you taught me how to drive. Of course, he taught Khalid, Dr. White. He took me to drive, and we was driving around, and of course, I hit a car while he was teaching me to drive. But then he told me, "Oh, it's okay." When my dad was teaching me how to drive, I hit a car.
that's absolutely true.
That's another rite of passage.
That's not true. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I look. I hit a man. Look.
That's-
Did you leave a
I
note?
did hit the try here. I mean, I made a right turn. That wasn't really a right turn. A right turn is 90 degrees, right?
Mhm.
This was like whatever angle this is, right? And I hit that truck. Boom! It was a donut truck, man. Donut truck in LA, and this is true. I hit the donut truck. I'm like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
The people in the truck gonna kill me. My dad gonna kill me. More on this story later because I think we got a call. We got a call celebrating Father's Day. You're on Street Soldiers. Go right ahead.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, are you a dad? You want to talk about dad? What do you want to talk about on Father's Day?
My father been gone. My dad been gone for some years now, and my grandfathers. You know, I was blessed to have two fathers, two daddies, and two grandfathers, and it taught me a lot in this life. You know, be your own man,
Yeah,
mind your own business,
Yeah.
and dictate your own life.
yeah, yeah.
And I see to that this day.
You got any special memories you want to share or something y'all did together?
Yeah, we did a lot of fishing together. Always did some fishing.
Oh, I love that.
That's fun.
Keep talking. I want to hear about the cooking stories.
The cooking stories too, huh?
Yeah, I want to hear that.
We did a lot of barbecuing, a lot of cooking,
Wow.
and I'm just proud to be a father. I mean, a father myself, and a son,
Wow.
a
Wow.
great one. You know,
What's the best thing for you about being a dad?
watching them smile
Okay.
and grow up.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I mean, you know, it's just something in me that I was instilled with morals.
Absolutely. Well, happy Father's Day, brother. Happy Father's Day, man. I hope you had a good one. I hope they treated you well. Thanks for calling, man.
You know what treated me well? My angels.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for calling this
Thank
Father's
you
Day.
so much for having me on the line.
You got it, brother. You got it.
Happy Father's Day.
877-955-1061. Give us a call on Street Soldiers. Talk about fatherhood. Your father, you being a father. I love the stories. I really love the fatherhood stories. You know, so I want to tell you, I've seen this shoot, and I like this. It's like when you have let me tell you, you know what's cool? It's a daddy-daughter date.
Okay.
What's cool? So, you know, again, Malcolm sends me a picture with him and, you know, his daughter, my granddaughter. He takes her on a date to Yoshi's.
Ah. It's a real day.
Oh, man.
Oh no, it's a real date.
It's a real
I
date.
picked her up at her mama's house. She came out in the dress. I opened the door for her when she got in the car. You know, I mean, we got to Yoshi's. I got her a dinner. We got to Shirley Temple. Like it was a date, okay? Because I'm setting the foundation so she know what a date's supposed to be like. Okay. But I got it from you because you do it with Cassie. You know.
And she's sitting there. I had her sitting there having a date with dad, you know. And the other thing is, it was a jazz concert. Who'd you go see? Was it a singer? Who was it?
Oh, we've gone a couple times. I don't remember who we went to see, but let me just say this. I realize this is whatever. You can take this however you want, but I'm the only man. I may be the only man, you know, besides you and a couple people in our family that my daughter ever, the only man who's not trying to get something from her ever in her whole life.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, ever.
Maybe she'll have one or two, maybe a few good friends, but who's not checking her out, who's not judging her, who don't want to touch her, who don't. So you know what? Once I realized that, I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna do this good. And that's what the date thing is about.
Yeah, I said that to the girls at the Live and Free Homemaking Boys Club last week. That, you know, dad is the first man that's, you know, that you can trust, right? That's safe. Your first love, you know, and that's why. Then I said something that, you know, that's why when that's violated, you can see how bad that can be for girls throughout their entire life. And well, I'll leave that alone. But you know, I just seeing you on a date with her was so cool. You're so cool. So cool.
I gotta take a page, put that in my playbook.
Oh no, do that,
That's
man.
smart.
Oh man, look.
Smart. And the Yoshis too. I mean, you know.
Oh
it's a win-win.
man. Oh man. I would win awards, and my youngest daughter was my date to the awards.
Mm.
Come on, Casey, go ahead. Wait, Daddy, can I go with you? Yeah, you can go with me. You're gonna be my date tonight. You know, so those again, these father stories. And I wish more men, and I think if more men understood the joy, you know, in fatherhood, they would be like, whatever barrier is there, and there are barriers. We know that there are barriers. Sometimes I asked the kids the other day was, you know, are there men who want to be fathers that aren't allowed to be? And all of them said, yeah. You know, and they talked about the reasons why, and you know, everything from, you know, the courts and, you know, child support and you know, to all these other reasons that we you know, that I hear. But every one of them said, you know, and I asked this question, who's the most important parent? And this was the first time I got a unanimous answer, pretty much. Both are equally important. Both are equally important.
Yeah.
Usually in the past, one have said, you know, a lot of them said the mom, a couple have said the dad. The ones that say dad, usually the ones that have a dad, but they said they're equally important. And also the young people said, no matter what goes on between their biological parents, they still want the dad involved in their life. They still want, obviously the mom is, you know, traditionally been there no matter what. And so I want men to understand that what they're missing. But just fight through it all, fight through it all, fight through it all. We're watching this video, and this gentleman had his daughter on her shoulder, and he was talking about he didn't care about nothing else. He said when he walked up to the door and this little girl ran outside, that was worth all the child support, you know, all the stuff. I mean, it's so poignant. That man holding his little girl on his shoulder and said, whatever it takes, I'm gonna be here. Was absolutely beautiful. Father's Day stories. I'm looking for them. 877-955-1061. Give us a call. Tell us, I got a book. Not only that, I'll give you a book. Oh, I forgot to give him a book. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking. I got one of Dr. White's books for you if you give us a call and give us your Father's Day salute right now. 877-9. I got no tickets to give away, but I got books to give away. Lady E.
No Summer Jam tickets. Got books.
We got books.
Fatherhood books.
Fatherhood
Yeah.
books. Fatherhood books.
Yeah.
877-955-1061. Lady E, your dad. Because I heard you talk about him before.
Yes. What about my dad?
So you supposed to tell us.
Oh.
You got
Yeah, I'm a
dad
daddy's
stories?
girl. I am a daddy's girl, and I can't think of any one thing because it's just everything. My daddy was handsome, brilliant. Oh my goodness, he was just so, if I could use the word, poised with a presence that just made, when he walked in the room, everybody was just quiet and focused. He was a 33rd degree Mason, Grand Secretary of, you know what I mean? Just brilliant.
Lady E, hold it right there. Hold it right there. We're coming
Yes,
back to you. I'll take
Got
this
a lot
call.
of callers.
take the call.
All called in right now.
They just all called in
A
right
lot
now.
of them.
All right, but we ain't got a lot of time, so let's go. You're on Street Soldiers, Father's Day stories. Go for it.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, bro?
I know I'm late and everything, but is Mr. White still there or he gone?
Yes, he's here. He is right here.
I'm here.
Mr. White is Breland.
What's up with you?
How you doing? How you doing?
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to you too. I just got done doing a little something with my kids, and I realized y'all said something. I realized I said something about my Father's Day story. Excuse me. I really don't have a Father's Day story, but I just want to let Mr. White know, you know what I'm saying, that he played a cool Father's Day, a cool father role in my life. Just for me going to college, I met him at college. He was one of my teachers, but he know my whole background story with me dealing with child support with my kids, dealing with the visitation with my kids. And if I ain't told you, Mr. White, I just want to tell you now that I really, really do appreciate you, man. Like,
all
I
right.
really do appreciate you, bro. Like,
That's what I'm talking
real
about.
talk, man. Like, you know my background, you know my BMs, you know everything I've been through. You know what I'm saying? For me, I call you when I need help. And I just really wanted to tell you, you know what I'm saying, I really appreciate you for being there for me, you know what I'm saying, and never turning your back on me, you know what I'm saying. For me, I really appreciate it and I love you for that, man.
Oh, man. Thank you.
Right on, bro. I appreciate you calling in and letting me know that, man. You know.
Hey, thank you, man.
Exactly, I'm saying. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Nick.
Happy Father's Day, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Get the
You're
kids a
welcome, man.
hug
You're
from
welcome.
me
Happy
too
Father's
as
Day to
well.
y'all, too.
All right, brother. Happy
It's all
Father's Day
good.
to you. Thank you, man.
All right. All right. 877. We got another one. Hold on to that one. I want to hear more about that. Yes, you're on Street Soldiers. Father's Day. Salute. Go ahead. Yep. Gone. Yeah. Another one or no, that's it. All right. 877-955-1061. That was wonderful. What did and obviously you remember it, and that took a lot of work.
Yeah.
Navigating now, like when you navigating that system, man.
Yeah. So that was a young brother that, I probably met when he was 17, 18. He's early 30s now. So we've been able to kind of keep in touch, over that period of time. And I've seen him grow and develop from a young man into a man now, taking care of his kids and that type of thing. And so, I mean, listen, as I mentioned earlier, I'm an educator, and most of our kids don't have see black men in the classrooms and things of that sort. So I take that job seriously.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
All right, you're on Street Soldiers. Gone again. Well, they're moving, dropping. Yeah, look, y'all gotta hold on. Okay. Give us a chance to get to you. 877-955-1061. Father's Day stories. And what's nice is that he called in. This is iHeartRadio, right? I mean, everybody knows about. You might get some calls, brother, to help a lot of people out. But I want to thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that. All right, lady, I cut you off, but because of the phones, you know how that is. So you want to wrap up your father's?
Oh yeah, he was just an amazing man. And one of the greatest things about him is he shared his knowledge and his expertise to help so many people. He helped people with their kind of reminds me of, this is going to sound like I'm talking about myself, writing, applying for jobs, applying for homes. He just, was just extra. When he got off work, he was just available to help people find their way and be successful and help make their dreams come true. He was just amazing, helping people and making a difference in their lives.
Do you remember anything specifically you and he did?
So I think of the many things, I think the thing that stood out to me the most,
Okay.
girl or woman, he was a writer. He helped me write a play that I performed at my church.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Go on, keep talking.
Oh, no, I thought we had a call. I thought you was like.
Well, we did, but that's okay. I didn't know.
And then I remember when he was 60 plus, he took my niece out because he ran against Jesse Owens. He was one of the fastest runners in Kansas City, next to Jesse Owens. And he took her out. I was there. And he had cancer. And he showed her how to come out of the blocks. He literally demonstrated it at 63. He came out of those blocks so fast until I screamed. But he was just, he was just daddy that would walk me to school, hold my hand from kindergarten. You know what I mean? Little things. When I gave birth to my son, I'm the one who almost didn't make it. He was right there. So yeah, he was just daddy.
We got a call, lady. All right, you're on Street Soldiers. Celebrating Father's Day. What you got? You're on. What you got? Father's Day.
I'm on.
You are on. You are on.
First of all, how you doing today? Thank you for everything you guys are doing.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. I just want to say, God bless all the fathers out there and the mothers. Fortunate enough to have a father or a mother that was present really in my life. I was raised by my grandmother, so I'm just listening to all the dedications and I'm feeling a little emotional because it's something I always look forward to in life, but I never had a part of or anything because I don't have any children. Me and my wife don't have kids, so I've never been a part of a Father's Day celebration in my whole life. So it's kind of hard for me to talk about stuff like that because I see it and I understand it and I know how much that males and females need their father in their life, but I just haven't. I've never had that. I've never had a moment of something like that to appreciate, to have a story to tell. So I just want to say that everybody that's out there that's listening, if you have kids, they're the priority in your life. I don't know what else is going on in your life, but your kids is the priority to make sure they grow up and be the best that they could be in whatever situation that you're going through, whether it's with your spouse or your significant other. Once the children is involved, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than misunderstandings between adults because the kids don't know what's going on. All the kids know is that they should be loved and they should be cherished, and they don't know why they not loved and cherished sometimes, and they just don't understand that it's not them, it's somebody else. It's another influence that's going on that's hurting them and lacking, you know what I'm saying, responsibility between parents and stuff like that. It's just hard because, again, I've never really had that. Not even a single day in my life, even I mean, I've talked to my father maybe once or twice in my lifetime, but I've never had anything that, you know what I'm saying, that ever amounted to anything but, you know what I'm saying, actually nothing, I'm going to be honest. So they both still alive, both of my parents, but, you know, it's nothing that they want to pursue when it comes to me. So.
Well, you know what, bro, let me say this, man. You can still be a father, and I'm not going to say father figure, a father to all the young people out there that you come in contact with. You can still do that. You can still, you know, offer just be a good person around them. And because everybody, a great therapist told me when every man represents a teacher and a parent to somebody. Yes, basically what he said. And so you can still do that. You can still do that to all the young people come in contact with, because every person needs that adult, in this case, you as a male adult, who was willing to involve themselves in their lives and help them grow and develop. So thank you so much for calling. And you're right about that. Folks out there, put that stuff aside, let dad be dad. The only reason they shouldn't be is if they're dangerous and they're not good. Other than that, let them be dad, let them be mom. All right, are we at the end of this hour? We are. All right. We're at the end of this hour. We'll come back hour number 2. We got some guests joining us who are going to talk about fatherhood. What else? So we'll be back on YouTube. Stay alive and free.
That's right.
That's it. I finally got it. YouTube, stay alive and free. Okay. All right. See you in a minute.
Yeah.
Everybody, great therapist told me, but every man represents a teacher and a parent. Yes, basically what he said.
Tell me what you see when you look at me. Do you see another brother lost in these streets looking for his soul?
Trying to find my soul.
Or do you see another brother searching for lost souls in these streets? A street soldier.
Street soldier.
Here to help you get that chip off your shoulder, warm your colder days and sober your drunken ways, and find a way to help you get over these hurdles placed in our path. And this is not meant to amuse you. This is for all those who have questions but are afraid to ask.
I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. No. When times get hard, you lose your way. Open your mind and hear what I say.
This is a message for the hard and the soft. To those who tune in weekly and to those who keep an eye out for 8 p.m. on Sundays and turn their radios off. The truth hurts. The cloth has been pulled. We're walking around half dead. Use this show as your IV. Alive and Free is a new movement. We've achieved self-destruction. A street soldier promotes self-improvement.
Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah. Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah.
Hour number two, alive and free, Street Soldiers Radio. We are celebrating Father's Day, Father's Day, Father's Day, Grandfather's Day, Great Grandfather's Day, Community Father's Day. All of those fathers who, this is your day. This is your day. This is your day. Our guest is Dr. Khalid White. I call him a fatherhood guru. That's what I'm calling him. And he has written several books on fatherhood. This one entitled Black Fatherhood, Trials and Tribulations, Testimony and Triumph. I like the end of that story, Testimony and Triumph. And he's written, children's books. It takes a special touch to write children's books, huh? So yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, good. I want you to say yeah. Little sister, little brother, and a hermanita.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh, I did it.
All right. There you go.
Spanish version of little sister, hermanito.
Mm-hmm.
The Spanish version of little brother. I love it. I love it. How's the books doing, by the way?
Doing very well. I appreciate everybody out there that's been supporting over the years. You know, we in the tens of thousands.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so they're doing really well from an independent, publishing standpoint.
Yeah, independent
Yeah,
publishing.
yeah.
And Ann told you something that blew your mind. So, Ann, where did you see his book?
Oh, at the Warriors game. I was so excited. I was like, yes. So I definitely grabbed a copy and I shared it with my daughter's school. So thank you. Thank you.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ann. Thanks to the Warriors. Thanks to Tandem Early Learning and all the partners, for sure.
You know what that means, right?
What's that mean?
That means Steph is reading the book to his children.
Hey, Steph, if you're listening, Steph, thank you.
All right.
Dub Nation.
Dub Nation. They do a lot. I mean,
Yeah, they do.
I don't know. Well, maybe other franchises do it. I know the Warriors would do something like that. All right, we are joined by four fathers. Let's see. Going on what I see on my screen, our first father is Justin Martinkovic. Justin, raise your hand. Wave your hand in the air. All right. To this way, moving over, Christopher Aguiar. What's up, Chris? Thank you for joining us tonight. And there he is, stone-faced as ever. My man, Charles Robinson, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, to share this hour of fatherhood with us. And Ray Upchurch. Ray Upchurch. Ray, let's start with you.
Yes.
Because you are an old friend to this gentleman right here. And if he's the fatherhood guru, you're the fatherhood guru maker, okay?
Yes.
Because it was you that brought, well, let's just talk about, first of all, say hi to him and your relationship with him. And then we'll just jump into real quick and start off with you talking about you and fatherhood.
Okay, well, first of all, so Dr. Brother White is just amazing. I got wind of him some years ago and just connected that. I just think he's brilliant. And he even, on a personal side, my son was in one of his classes. And my son wasn't doing everything he should. And Dr. White reached out, brother of church, we need to have a conversation. But yeah, I think you had it right, Doc. He's the guru.
Yeah.
I,
We go back along, you and I and the club and our work, and it was you that made this video called Daddy Hunger. Daddy Hunger. And
yes.
that video, man, let me tell you, how long ago did you make that video?
We started screening around 2007. Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing it, and your whole personal story, which we'll get into later on, because I want to, the story of searching for your missing father.
Yes.
And it's just wonderful. And
thank you.
And let me tell you something, man. Was that 17 years ago?
Yes, it's been a minute.
Do you know that we still, every Father's Day, show that video to the kids at the club? We just did the other day. We're halfway through it. We're halfway through that video, and it still has the same impact that it did when you made it in 2007, because the issues are still the same. The issues are the same. So I got to thank you for putting your personal life out there.
Sure.
And let me tell you what blows their mind. Early in the film, they see this woman talking about she grew up without a father, and everybody in her neighborhood grew up without a father, and there's no men in these neighborhoods, and she knows the pain of not having a dad, and she wants more men to be dad. And then I say, well, who's that lady? Who is that lady talking? He said, that's the mayor. That's London Breed in that video talking about the impact of not having a dad and the impact it had on her community. And even though she is the mayor, right, for reelection, it's still, it doesn't change anything about, the impact that it had on her. So that's a number of other things, among other things. But I just want to thank you for making the film. We'll come back to your story of finding your dad and how the importance to you. Justin just got off a plane. Justin just got off a plane. Justin, thank you for joining me, my brother. That's
my pleasure, Joe. Great to see you.
His brother, man. Your daughter is how old?
My daughter Grace is 10.
Yes. And his daughter is a doll. Doll. What's the best thing about being a dad, sir?
The love you get back. That's the best thing. My daughter is very emotive, and she's very expressive, and she tells me when I'm screwing up, but she also tells me when I'm doing all right, and that feels really good. And the cuddles, Joe, the cuddles. She's a great cuddler, and she's 10. She still wants to cuddle, and I'm going to cuddle as long as she wants. So
she's a hugger, boy. That girl will hug you too.
She's a big hugger. Absolutely. Everybody. She'll hug everybody.
Break your back. Okay. She holds on. And we were talking about daddy-daughter dates, right? And he just sent me a picture from, where were you, in Boston?
We were in Boston. Yeah. This past weekend, we spent 3 days in Boston. Yeah.
You hanging out, she's hanging out in the club.
I found a place in Boston. It's somebody was talking about Yoshi's earlier. It's just like Yoshi's. It's like dinner and music. And, we had a great night there. We had a great dinner. The show comes on, and I swear to God, she made friends with everybody in the band. And by the time we left, she was getting hugs from everybody.
So he sends me a video of her, sitting in the club, and she's loving it, man. I mean, I'm telling you, I can show it right now. No. I mean, she is loving. She's having a great time. She's with her dad. They're having a great time. She's in the club. The band is rocking.
Yeah. We had a blast. Yeah. Just the two of us too. Just the daddy-daughter trip.
Daddy dates. She will never forget that.
Yep, absolutely.
of course, if she meets a man who doesn't treat her like that, she gonna say, "My daddy." You've already set the standard, brother.
That's right.
You have set the standard.
I have set the bar very high. Her future boyfriend's gonna have a hard time, I'll tell you what.
All right. Thanks, Justin. We'll come back.
Okay.
Chris. Oh man, Chris. What's up? What's up, my brother? Thank you, man, so much for joining us tonight. Happy Father's Day to you. Yeah.
Happy Father's Day, Dr. Joe.
Tell everybody how old your children are.
I have a daughter who's 30 and a son who's 17.
And we sat around again. What I like with these guys, we sit around and talk about family. We talk about everything. We do. I mean, we talk about everything. And one of the things we talk about families and his son goes to Sacred Heart and all this. And what's the best thing about being a dad?
My goodness, it's been a long 30-year run of this. I would agree with what Justin said, though. It's that unconditional love that comes back when you're a brand new dad and you have a little blob of an infant. There's something about that first time that you come home from work where that child is old enough to recognize, and you get that smile, and it seems to melt away all the trouble of work. But it's been remarkable, 30 years of it. My daughter's grown up at Dalton, living in New York. My son's still here in the house for another year till he goes off to school, but watching them grow, it's very interesting, and hoping they picked up a couple of the lessons you taught them so they don't step in the same hole. They step in their own holes.
And you two, with dad as the first male teacher. I mean, mom's a teacher, but dad's a teacher also. In fact, I was surprised when I had a list and asked the young people a list of attributes of what makes a good dad. And I did it here on the show, and I did it with the kids at the club. And the first thing they put on the list, surprisingly, or maybe not, was teacher. They said teacher. You'd be surprised at some of the things they wrote about being a good dad. Okay. Should have brought the list with me. I didn't. But teacher was up there. So, you're that first teacher, the first idea about, about I guess males, what males do, what guys do. And so yeah, is there and I know you've done a lot of been involved in a lot with your son in high school, getting him to baseball practice a whole bit. I see these are just stories that we with our own guys tell about their kids. But I know you don't underestimate it, but we don't underestimate hearing about that. I just want you to know, when you talk about how'd your son? He started telling me his son, he played Sacred Heart, played baseball. That's been a lot of fun, hasn't it?
Absolutely. It's we're in it together. And before my son, my daughter played competitive soccer up and down the state. So different games, same program, six days a week, practice our games. And when you're younger, you get the terrible field times. So you got to be at school at 6 a.m. or with baseball at Sacred Heart, to work out in the gym, you have to be there at 5:45,
Get ready, Justin. We will be back. Charles Robinson. Man.
What's going on, Doc?
What's going on, my brother? Man, this guy. Oh, man. How long have I known you, man? Since you were how old?
96, so almost 30 years, 28 years.
Yeah, man. And your story, I saw Kareem the other day, and I was talking about to him about how much joy that I'm gonna talk about me personally, but I think we've all had in watching him grow up, go off to college, become the man that he is today, a successful man, especially given the way he was when he first walked into the club back in '99. I'm not gonna say what it was, but I'll just say his eyes were red. How's that? People can figure that out, what that is. And remember meeting you, that man, but it's been amazing, man. It has been amazing, everything that you have been through, you know, sticking with the club, following our direction, going off to spending what 2 terms, two terms of duty in Iraq, or 3? Is it 2 or 3?
I did 4 in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan. So I did 5 tours.
And this is no joke. We used to pray for him when we were at the family meeting. We would pray for Charles, right? And then literally when these things finally came out, he would call us from wherever he was. And, you know, we would listen to him on the phone. We want to make sure he was safe. He's over at Moratorium, you know, he's over doing war duty. And then seeing you come home and then, you know, graduate, because you had to postpone your education from Jackson State and then come back and graduate from Tennessee State, right? From Tennessee State?
Sir.
Yeah, but the best of all of that, out of all that, is you being a dad, man. You being a dad. And this brother got 2. Go ahead, man. Talk about the dad. That the biggest smile come from him and his.
I have 3, and I actually have 4. I have a stepson who is 24. My oldest is 22. I have Zion, who is 19, and then my daughter, who's 17. So, yes.
I had the privilege of meeting the younger 2 as they grow up. As they grow up, they've actually been here in the studio, and they have sprouted up now, right? You know, I mean, time moves so fast. That's the whole thing about child rearing. They move so fast. Like you said, Chris, they're these little bundles, and now your oldest son is at your alma mater, or the one you guarded. Talk about what they're doing right now.
Zion is going into a sophomore year at Jackson State, and Kaya we're actually taking her down in July to start her freshman year at Jackson State.
Beautiful.
So
that blows your mind, doesn't it? That's just what's the best thing about being a dad? Same question to you.
The best thing about being a dad is seeing the children do the right thing and the wrong thing. I mean, as far as like making mistakes and seeing them learn and progress through those mistakes.
Yeah. And I remember when they were here and the look they had in their eyes just looking at you. I mean, look, man, they think you like, I don't know, man. What's the big dude in the Marvel movies? The huge dude, not the regular dude.
Oh, the Hulk is right behind him.
Oh yeah, when you got all them Marvel comics up there, yeah, you're like, what that huge, big, gigantic dude? I can't never remember his name, but that's the way they looked at you. You was like, man, my dad is, yeah. They. How you feel about your baby girl going off, man? Because your baby girl is a cutie pie.
I think that we've done a good job, and she's gonna have her brother there and other family members nearby. So I know she'll make the right decision. So my son, the jury is still out on him, but I know that girl is gonna make the right decision.
And if not, you're gonna move in the dorm with her. I know. Ray, let's go back. You were circling around. You searched for your dad because you didn't have a dad in your life, and what fueled that, and what was it that you were looking for?
Wow, you went straight from the jugular, Doc. That's a great question. Well, so my dad that raised me was a military man, and so a lot of discipline, a lot of do the right thing, but I didn't feel like there was a lot of love, and so in my own mind, I created this thing that, my real dad would love me different. And so that's what really prompted me. Plus the other part of simply not knowing who he was. I mean, literally, as an adult man, I'm like 42 years old and I'm looking at strangers saying, man, I wonder if this guy could be my dad. So at some point it had become enough. And I decided I need to go find him. And I had heard about where he was prior to. So I found him and went to meet him. And he's a professor of sociology at Dartmouth.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was the very first and only time I've ever seen him in my life, was meeting him on the campus of Dartmouth.
Did it give you some sort of completion? What you feel like? Because
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Doc. It's really interesting because I thought it would kind of be what happened, where were you, but it wasn't. For me, it was literally like I had become a computer and I was analyzing DNA. And all I wanted, so I was able to look and say, oh, that's what his eyes look like. That's what his voice sounds like. That's how he stands, And it was amazing because as soon as I kind of finished that, in that moment, literally what I call my daddy hunger was gone. Like, okay, there was a sense of completion. Because remember, at this point, I'm a grown man. I had my own sons. I was a father myself at this point. They were babies, but I was a father. So, it just finding him and finally being able to put the rest of that puzzle together was my moment of completion.
Wow. That isn't in the movie, so I'm glad you said that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, that's the rest of the story, as this gentleman on the radio used to say. What's the best thing about being a dad?
Man, well, one was, I was thinking about that as you were asking the other guys, and I was like, what is my answer to that? I think on a very deep level, I just felt like I needed to break that curse. That was important to me. It was like that my sons, and the way I would say it is, if there's breath in me and breath in them, they'll always know how to get to me. They'll always know where I am. So, and then the rest of it, I think the best part has just been the journey. And I'm still on it, of course, but just the journey. It's, I always felt like this, or I learned through the process, that it's not about perfection, but it's presence, to be there, make mistakes in front of them so they can learn with me. But I think Chris said it as well as Justin. I think just that love part, I've never loved anyone as much as I have two sons, and loving those boys has just been everything for me. Yeah.
Justin, I talked to your dad over the phone, and it's funny. Your dad, what'd you learn from your dad? I'm not gonna say you sound like him. He does have this lilt in his voice, like you, but
yeah.
What'd you learn? What'd you get?
When I think of my dad, I think I learned work ethic from him first and foremost. Life wasn't always easy. There was some struggles, and my dad always stepped up to the occasion. He always worked hard. I have two sisters, and there was a point at which we were all in Catholic school, and my mom went back to college, and money was tight. And my dad at times had 3 jobs. Sometimes he was working, he had a 9-to-5 job, a good solid 9-to-5, but would work weekends and oftentimes night shifts on weekends. And he did all that to make ends meet and make sure that my sisters and I and my mom could all go to school. And he sacrificed a lot, and he worked hard. And it was never something we talked about, but it was just something, you absorb these things when you're around a parent, and you see the work and the struggle, and that was something that I don't think that it made a big impression on me, but almost like by osmosis made a big impression on me. And so that was really, that's, I think, the first and foremost what I learned from my dad: hard work and being responsible to your family.
I always say that my dad taught me two things right off the bat. He taught me men work and men take care of the children. If I ever described him right, that's what I got. Like, boom, because that's what I saw him do. Go to work every day. Every day. And my father worked literally for like what you would call PG&E up here with Southern California Gas Company down in LA. And, and he always described himself as a ditch digger. That's what he said. I'm a ditch digger, right? Man, and argument, he get up like 5 o'clock in the morning every day,
Hard work.
Hard. He'd either
manual labor.
He'd either catch the bus or, he got a motorcycle, which drove my mother crazy. Riding a motorcycle, Marshall, she say, Marshall, get off that bike. That's what she called him, Marshall, right? But, and I said, well, that's what you do when you're a man. You work. You go to work. And then I still can't get over this man taking care of not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, but 9 of us in a 2-bedroom home. I know there were times he wanted to blow his brains, and get the hell out of there. But, I did this on the show, you guys, and people have heard me say this. When he was alive and in the early years of Street Soldiers, I would call him because by that time he had moved to Sacramento. And I call him and say, Dad. And I'm Junior. What, Joe Jr.? What you want? Said, am I on the radio? Yeah, man. You're on the radio. You're on the radio. Oh, really? I'm on the radio? I said, just want Happy Father's Day. And he said, okay, that's, I said, Dad, I want to tell you one thing. Thank you for not taking penitentiary chances with your children. And he would look at me like, why would I do that? Right? But he was like, Dad, I work with men who are always saying, I'm about to sell drugs to feed my kids, right? So they remove themselves from their lives of their young people, their kids who need desperately their father. And it's not really for the kids, it's really for them, right? It's their thing. So I would thank him for that. And he would say, okay. But, just so I get when you just learn that, and I learned that no matter what, I'm going to work and I'm going to take care of my kids. I got that from my dad. Whether we together or not, that's what I'm going to do. So I get that. I love hearing that. Chris, did you grow up with your dad? I don't know.
My dad was not around too much. My mom and dad divorced when I was very, very, very young. And this was the early 70s. So divorced single moms were kind of a new thing. But I had grandparents local. And so I was raised by my mom's mom and dad. And then I also had my father's mom and dad were close, just next town over. And they were around as well. My father circled back around roundabout when I was freshman in college, and has been in my life since then. He kind of squared up his act.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's some hard conversations in there.
No, not too much. There's a lot of don't talk about it, but we know where it is and we're moving forward. We didn't do a lot of, I'm upset or disappointed with you kind of talks from me. Really none of that stuff. And he's a good dad in the sense that he doesn't ask the probing questions. If I ask him for help or I ask him for advice, he'll give me an answer, but he doesn't volunteer it, which is pretty good. It could be uncomfortable if you're getting hard questions from your dad.
Yeah. Got it. Charles, I know your story, your father's story, and I always admire those who don't grow up, with the father in their life. But then, a lot of men say, I'm going to be there for mine, and then they don't, right? They don't. So I always admire those that, I'm going to make sure I am. So talk about your father's story.
My father, well, I was told that my father was murdered, and did not find out that my real father, my mother and father had divorced And my mother, she just did not like my father, so we thought he was dead for a long time. And then come to find out, my real father lives, and I ended up finding out about him when I was like 14, 15. And he's been in my life ever since. So, yeah.
Great. See, I didn't know that. Or if I heard, I didn't remember that. That is great. That's all great. Did you grow up with your dad?
I did. Yeah.
What'd you get from it?
Hard work, discipline,
Mm.
work ethic,
Mm.
and relationship building
Mm.
too. Yeah,
Really?
like people skills.
Mm.
You know, because I see the way he kind of deals and interacts with people, and him and my mom broke up, divorced, early '90s. You know what I mean? So even with that in mind, he still was very active with myself and my brother. So you know, I always am thankful for that
Yeah.
because it could have went a whole different way.
Well, that's what a lot of them do, right? When they leave, you know, they leave the family, they leave the mom. For them, they take it that they leave the children too, right? And that's not supposed to be the case.
No, it's not supposed to be the case. And you know, and I've seen in some cases too where the mom puts up a wall for the dad to be present.
Yep.
I've also seen cases like you mentioned where the dad just kind of, hey, you know, trying to figure it out. What I've come to find out or figure out later on in life now is that there's no manual, no blueprint, no handbook on how to be a dad, how to go through the tragedy of divorce or of loss, of trauma, of hey, we were doing great when we were, you know, when it was just us, but now you insert these kids or a kid into the picture, and you know the whole dynamics change, right? So you know, you got to be you have to be a real almost, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to almost therapize yourself to some degree when these ups and downs come in, and you might have to see an example of that, or you might need to know somebody or have some people in your corner that you can talk to, because really there's no manual for how to deal with it, and things are going to pop up in any relationship.
Yeah.
Even with the relationship with your children, right? So yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry to ramble on, but
No, that's all part. That's all. It's all of this is in the picture.
as a adult now, you know, it's like, oh man, I kind of understand how families can split up or how things can go a certain way, but you know, at the end of the day, your kids are your responsibility.
Yeah, and that's going to happen. I mean, everybody would like to have, and I always say, mom's going to be mom no matter what.
Yep.
And I want dad to be dad no matter what. No matter what. Be dad no matter what. I mean, relationships aren't going to work out. But generally, mom is going to be mom. And,
Sure.
and I want dad to be dad. Be dad. I mean, because I know I want to be a dad no matter what. I was going to be dad. I was going to be dad. And my son, where are you, Malcolm? Where you at? You there? You keep popping up, popping up, popping up. You going again? You going again? Okay, I'm going to get it back in. You're going to be dad no matter what. And he's a great father. He's a great father, except he's run away, so I can't get him right now. We asked what's the best thing about being a dad? What's the toughest thing about being a dad? Ray, let's start with you. What's the toughest thing about being a dad?
It was, well, because I ended up basically as a single father, raising my sons from like the age of 4 and 6. They were primarily with me most of the time. So what I found interesting was trying to be in, I can't say it, being in both roles, but at that moment was really the hard discipline, because I didn't feel like they had the soft place to go, you know, if I went too hard. So just trying to balance that, you know, at that time. And because one of the things that I've learned, especially through, you know, daddy hunger, was mental health is so important for your kids. And so it was important for me to try and guard their mental health. So if that was the answer, that would be my answer, is guarding my children's mental health.
What did you see? What popped up in that area? Because that's a big topic now, men and mental health, mental health period. more
Right.
so than it has been in the past. These were words
Mhm.
and even 20, maybe even 10 years ago a lot. What
Mhm.
issues came up? What comes up for you when you say that?
Well, so the mental health part, well, of course, some of it was physical, where you have folks that, Doc, I went with you in many places, and I remember being in Baltimore, and we had children that were being molested by their parents, by people that were very close to them. So, even though that in that moment is something physical, but then it affects them mentally.
Emotionally, the whole bit.
Right. So I was always, and I even having boys, I knew that happened to young men as well. So that was important to me, making sure I was kind of on the opposite end, but making sure that they always had access to their mom. And when they wanted to spend time with her, not to ever speak ill of her in front of them. Because it was important, because what I learned was they feel as though half of them is their mom. So if I'm sitting here with all these unflattering things to say about her, they feel like that's part of them as well. So it was, I think in terms of mental health, just watching them, being close and even at times threatening, I need you to take a marijuana test, because I need to know if you're doing drugs in school. And my oldest, I remember him telling me, because he was an athlete, he's like, "Dad, I'm an athlete. I don't have any desire to do drugs because I work out." But people ask me every day at school if I want to smoke marijuana. So just really trying to stay in touch with them.
Oh Lord, absolutely, absolutely. Justin, what's the toughest thing about being a dad?
Well, one of the things I find very hard, I'm a kind of get it done kind of guy, and I like to ration with people. And when you've got a 2-year-old or a 5-year-old, you can't ration with them, and you got to get something done. They're on their schedule, they're not on your schedule. So I have had to learn patience, and I'm still working on it, but I'm a lot better than I was, and learning how to be patient and how to wait for things, or how to flip the script a little, or ask a question a certain way so that I can kind of motivate and move, because logic, as you know, it doesn't always work, so, I think we've touched on this a little, but, fatherhood forces you to grow and forces you to learn. It's not just about teaching others. I think Ray or Charles mentioned this earlier about, we gotta learn too, and get better. And I think Ray also said, it's not about perfection either, we're not going to be perfect. So go a little easy on yourself, forgive yourself when you make a mistake. And, and like I said, for me, it's all about patience, trying anyway.
Chris?
Joe, I wanted to jump back a minute and I'll give you your answer about the toughest part. But on what I've learned, I'm certain I've learned some lessons from my father, but he wasn't around as much. But who was around was my Mexican grandmother, who raised 9, like your mom and dad did. She came over, didn't speak English. She wanted to go speak English and go to the night class to speak English. And my grandfather said, "Yeah, you can go to class as soon as all your work's done." So that was all the laundry, all the food, all the everything for that whole family, right? But what she taught was, education makes a difference, and you live here in California and it's available to you. And all of her 9 kids went to college and got degrees, and the majority got advanced degrees. Now, this was in a time when you could go to the University of California for $25 a semester, in the 1950s. I mean, this is a different world, but still that was some money in its time. But that was the lesson she taught, was to get yourself an education, because that will make all of the difference in your chances. And that's what you're delivering, Joe. You're educating a lot of folks, and that's what makes a difference. So the toughest part about being a parent to me is being tough.
Hmm.
I have got parts of my life where I am a very, very tough and difficult man to deal with, but it is not at home with my children. I'm the world's biggest softie. I have the hardest time being tough. I sit down with my children when they make mistakes and go through it and explain what's the consequences to actions, but I've never been the one to be yelling or be taking something away or sit them down or belittle them. That's the hardest part's being tough, but okay. I also learned, in the working world, I've worked for two different kinds of bosses. I've worked for bosses that motivate you by scaring you. They're going to yell at you. They're going to be tough. They're going to be mean. And I've worked for bosses that had kind hearts. And the fact of the matter was, for me, I always worked later and worked harder for the kind-hearted boss because I didn't want to let that kind-hearted boss down because I had respect. For the one who was tough and mean and yelling at me, I got the work done because I had a job to do. Okay, you're paying me. I did the job, but it wasn't out of respect and it wasn't out of fear. It was out of, I got to check the box for this guy and try to figure him or her out so that I didn't have to deal with their nonsense. So, I guess that's a part of my parenting, which is I hope that my children make the right choices out of respect and love. And, I raised a daughter first and then a son, and they're just completely different things. With the daughter, I always feared, a daughter goes out in this world, there's a better chance of them getting something bad happen than a son, I thought, But I always thought with both of them that what I needed to teach them was judgment, so that when they came to the crossroads and they had a choice between a left turn and a right turn, and the correct choice was to the right, I hope I taught them enough judgment to make that correct choice. That's really, I think, what I was going for.
Thank you, sir. Charles, I know it's late back there. He is tired. He's back in Tennessee. What's the toughest thing about being a dad?
Toughest thing about being a father for me was watching my children stumble through things because you want them to learn it, but you want to help, but you want them to gain their way and be resourceful as they're doing it. So my daughter or my son, like, hey, I got this issue coming up and this is what I need to do. And it's like, hey, I can easily call somebody or get this done for you, but I want them to figure it out. And that was hard for me because I've always said, like, hey, I'm gonna always be there. My door is always open, whatever the case may be. I don't care where I am, what time it is. You have a key to this house, you come to it. I don't care where you are, you come home. But them figuring it out, I had to let go of that and let them figure it out. Even when they were smaller, just letting them figure it out. That's probably been the hardest thing to do, or is letting them figure it out for themselves has been hard.
Yep. What about you, Dr.?
Hardest thing?
Yeah, the hardest thing.
Well, like I mentioned a little earlier, other part of the program, it's all boys in the family.
Yeah.
My dad kind of raised us with,
Spin around, spoil the child, right? Yeah, I know.
Performance on pain of punishment or something like that, right? So, I learned that there was really no, no two ways about that. And you want something done, it was kind of like there's a way to get things done that you want.
Yeah.
I can't do that with my daughter, and I learned that the hard way. Especially with my oldest daughter. So that doesn't work for her. Needs more nurturing, caring, compassion.
Yeah.
But I learned it again. I had to learn that the hard way. The way that I was taught it doesn't apply to her. So having to relearn,
Yeah.
unlearn, relearn,
Yeah.
unpack, put something new in the suitcase to try. And to be perfectly honest with you, right now we kind of at a crossroads because I was, I've been looking back on, I kind of been a little too rough on her, and so she kind of put up a wall now. That's why she didn't want to come to the studio with me tonight, right?
How old is she now?
She's 17.
Oh, she'll get through it.
It's also at that age and that stage where they kind of want to assert some independence, from what I've been told.
My baby daughter went from "Dad, you are wonderful" to "Dad, you're annoying."
Well, we're there. We're there.
But then now she's on the other side. Dad, you're great.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Then they circle back around. That's right.
So I'm hoping for the circle back around, soon.
Gotta wait a little bit, couple more years. Let her get through that first year of college or so. And then after that year, she comes home at Thanksgiving and says, "Dad, you were right."
Hey, I'm waiting on the "Dad, you are right" part. Yeah. But but all jokes aside, it's really unlearning and relearning has been my hardest part for me. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, So learning more to be more compassionate with my girls, learning to be more communicative, learning to be more emotive. That just wasn't something that I knew how to do. So it's a relearning process for me. So I'm trying that.
I'm thinking about myself. I think the toughest thing for me was, I think I sort of had this expectation that they would take sort of the route I took, and sort of guiding that, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that, my son's going to the NBA now. He even like basketball, right? Okay, so and then with my three kids, they're all different. And that's the other thing, is that they're different, right? And the first one is different from the second one. The middle one's different from the third one. So you sitting like them, man, what did I do? Oh, can I do better? I always thought, can I do better? But hey, but the best thing is hanging in there and figuring it out. I think that's the biggest thing, is hanging in there and figuring it out, and dedicating yourself to, we're gonna figure this out. It's gonna be figured out, But the hardest thing for me is I had these not so much. It wasn't so much expectations, but this is the road that's gonna go, and it doesn't go the road that you want. It doesn't go, because they each got them there, and then give them their blessing when they choose that road, right? And really, in the end, as long as they're just good kids doing the right thing, not getting in any trouble, that's fine. Whether they get this degree or that degree or get job, that, so those are things you find out along the way. And I think in this list, the one day thing, one of the big things they put in this list was being there, and kids, when they know you're there, it's like a wall, right? It's like if I stand up and, there's this wall behind me, but if I move forward and start to fall back, the wall ain't there. So I'm gonna hit the ground, break my head, And I think the best thing is that for all of them, all of us, they know we're there. We're there. They can call us at any time, and I think that's wonderful. What I'm finding out, gentlemen, as we move on with this, and then I'm gonna do this list for you. What I'm finding out, and now that I am a grandfather, is that this father thing has no timeline. So, now my kids are way past grown now, including that one right there that you see with my grandson, right? I'm as much of a father in a different way to him, and my two girls, as I was when they was little, right? And now I'm a grandfather, right? And I do the same thing. So it's this father thing doesn't end, and it doesn't end, which is great. It just, when they grow up, they're moving out of the house, and I'll be, nah, you ain't.
If you choose to do it, it doesn't end until you're in the dirt, Joe.
In the dirt. But the value then is you create. That's why I love when I see these, these pictures of the generation. Like when my father was alive, Malcolm, it was me, Malcolm, and his grandfather, right? And then we put those pictures together, and you have those stories, and he would go up the ladder. He would get something from me, and then he'd go get something from granddad, So those are all just Yeah, it doesn't end. So Justin, it's not gonna end, brother, but that's cool.
It's coming. I hear all the stories. I know it's coming.
Just gonna be a different need, a different at that point. And yeah, so it's really wonderful. I'm gonna read you this list before we wrap up, and you guys, I just want, as I read this list, I asked the radio audience, and I asked the young people at the club, what makes a good dad, right? What makes a good dad? And the caveat was a good dad. And Ray, remember, now they're going through this list after they've seen your film, right? And I said, what is a good dad? And I was actually surprised by some of the things I heard. They said a good dad is a teacher. A good dad provides leadership by example. A good dad is a protector, a provider. Now, which, I kind of, those are, yeah. Then they said ability to balance sternness and sensitivity. Wow, that's interesting, right? A good dad instills organization and structure. And, whenever we talk about Malcolm X, we talk about how the family fell apart when, Malcolm's father got killed and the rest of the family ended up in foster homes, and mom ended up in a hospital, mainly for me. Yeah. A good dad is kind. Now, when they say kind, someone asked my daughter, she said, Dad, you kind in your own way. That was really interesting. They use that word, right? And I'm thinking kind, loving and supportive, calm, patient, and understanding. I'm saying, listen to some of Chris stuff. He seems like, kind, patient, and understanding, because he don't want to be tough in a different place. Listens and inspires. Now, this one I get. You ever see dads? I mean, moms do this, but you ever see dads cheering on their kids? And Charles got two athletes, right? Charles got two athletes. You talk about, look, man, one time my oldest daughter was running in a race and she got disqualified. Yeah, man. And so I'm mad now. I'm thinking about it. She was running in a race at Pittsburgh High. She was in the 8th grade. She's going to CYO championship. She ran the race and they false started and she came in 4th. So Ray, I jumped out of the stands, ran all the way over to the track. Man, you better put my daughter, you better run again. They had to put me all, you hear my mom's doing this, right? I had to take me back to the stands and let me, but they ran the race again. Okay, and she finished 3rd, okay? So she got to go on. That's a little bit too inspiring, right? Calm, patient, believes in you. Urges you to be the best you can be. Is present, consistency and presence, being there. He's the foundation for everything else. Provides discipline, teaches you that your word is everything. Now that's one thing I got from my dad. With no contracts necessary. I think those of us that old school fathers, we know you didn't have to, your word is bond. I don't have to write nothing down. That's what he do. Shows quiet strength, resiliency, responsible, be able to express emotions, which a lot of men aren't able to do, but they say a good dad should be able to do that and be vulnerable, right? And when a lot of times when they talk about this, they had a dad in the home, but he didn't show any emotion. They will say that. They will say that. Quality time and attentive. So I have my youngest daughter is now married, and my son-in-law. So I want to be a great dad. So Justin, what I did? I gave him this list. I swear to God. So Reggie, man, you're getting ready to have, and this is before the baby was born. Now he's 2 years old. My grandson is 2 years old. And I said, Reggie, you think you ready to be a dad? And he said, yeah, I love your daughter, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, you ready to be a dad? I said, yeah. I said, well, this is the list that you got.
Yes.
And Ray, he actually went and checked off. He did. He took this and said, I can do this, Mr. Marshall. I can do this. I can do this. I can do that. And so he's like, he was really proud of himself. I didn't want to wing it. I didn't want to wing it. I gave him this list. Anyway, that was a lot of fun hearing from young people what makes a good dad. And generally when I see a good dad, most of those things are there. So I just want to thank all of you so much for spending this time with us. Charles, you know, I'm proud of you, man. Just love you, man. Love you for everything that you become. I'm glad you didn't get picked off over there in that war.
It was, like I said, Doc, there was many days where it could have been that. So
I know. We talking about war stories. You got some war stories that you know. Ray, thank you for the film. Thank you for the film so much, man. That film, anything that has that long a shelf life, a story that doesn't grow old.
Yeah.
Still love it, man. And we're gonna pick it up and wrap it up next week. Justin and Chris, y'all my boys. You know, I'm gonna see you this week. Ain't gonna tell nobody where, but you know, we have great time, great conversations, and thank you so much, really, for being here tonight, sharing fatherhood with us. Lady E.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you so much to each of you, dads, for being here. Charles, it's always good to see you and hear you. It's amazing to hear that your baby girl is on her way to college. Oh my goodness.
yes, ma'am.
So again, thank each of you. What a topic, being a dad. Some get to do it, some miss it, some wish they had. There's no book to show the way. And sometimes the idea of being a man may not always be the way. How to be patient while being gentle and strong. How to be loving and kind while working to keep the lights on. How to stand firm and be flexible as well. How to be a role model, to be present and available. How to be wise enough to know how to hear. How to lead and guide with love without instilling fear. How to be soft enough for them to want to hug. How to be what they need so they know how to be loved and give love. So, Dad, Street Soldiers wants you to clearly see how needed you are. And please, stay alive and free. This is Lady Estelle asking you to consider this.
Happy Father's Day, Dr. White.
Happy Father's Day.
One more time, man. And I want to salute one last group of fathers I want to salute because it has made my work. I must, obviously my own father, but that meant I would have just been taking care of my kids. I want to salute those community fathers that I grew up with. And I grew up at a time when men took on the entire community. And obviously I'm talking about Malcolm and Martin Luther King and Medford Evers. Those men that says, I'm not going to just be a father for mine. I'm going to be a father for everybody. You have done that in your work. This man called in and said, thank you. Thank you for extending your fatherhood beyond your own biological children. But to all dads, happy Father's Day. Thank you so much. I love all y'all. We'll see you soon, some sooner than later. All right.